I thought my daughter was avoiding me. But when I followed her one evening, she walked into a cemetery, knelt by a tomb, and whispered, "Mom can never know the truth." What I heard next broke my heart into pieces. My name is Sarah Bennett. I am 42 years old. I have one daughter, Lily. Lily is 15. She has her father's dark hair and her grandmother's small smile. For most of her life, we were close. We baked cookies on Sundays, we watched silly TV shows, and we told each other little secrets. I thought I knew her. Lately, she changed. She started closing her bedroom door. She stopped telling me about her day. She answered my texts with one-word messages. Okay. Later. Fine. I thought she was mad at me. I thought I had done something wrong. I worried and worried until my chest hurt. One evening, I saw her slip out of the house. She took her jacket and a small backpack. She walked fast down the street, so I could not call her. My first thought was anger. My second thought was fear. I had to know where she was going. I told myself I would not follow. I said I would respect her space. But then I grabbed my keys and quietly walked after her. I stayed back so she would not see me. My heart beat hard. I felt like a thief and a mother all at once. She walked to the old cemetery by the river. The cemetery was quiet and empty at that hour. The sun was falling and the shadows grew long. I held onto a tree behind a row of bushes and watched her step between the stone markers like she belonged there. She stopped at a small tomb. It was worn and soft with age. A little name was carved on it. Lily knelt down like she had done many times before when she wanted to talk to someone who could not answer. She took a small thing from her backpack, a worn ribbon with a tiny charm, and placed it on the stone. My breath caught in my throat. She leaned forward and whispered, so soft I could barely hear, "Mom can never know the truth." Her voice broke. She put her head down and started to cry. I felt the world tilt. My legs moved before my mind did. I stepped out from behind the bush without meaning to. The ground crunched under my shoes and Lily looked up. Her face froze. Her eyes were wide and bright, like she had seen something that hurt and surprised her all at once. "Mom," she whispered. "You scared me." I wanted to run to her and hug her. I wanted to tell her I was sorry. I wanted to ask what truth she meant. But I remembered her words. I remembered the way she had whispered them to the stone and not to me. She had said, "Mom can never know the truth." That cut me deeper than a knife. She looked back at the tomb. She pressed her hand against it like she could feel someone on the other side. Then she said something that made my heart break into pieces. "It was my fault," she said. "I told him to go. I told him to leave. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it, and now he's gone. I can't tell you. Mom, you can never know." Her hands shook. Her face was wet with tears. My throat closed. I wanted to cover my ears so the words would not be true. I wanted to laugh and say she was joking. But the look on her face, the small guilt, told me this was not a child's play. It felt true and terrible. I stepped closer, but she flinched away like I was someone else. "Please, Mom," she begged. "Please go. Please don't make me say it again." My heart hammered so hard I thought it would burst. I reached out and touched her shoulder. Her body was colder than I expected. She turned and looked at me like she saw the end of the world and I was the cause. "How could you keep this from me?" I asked before I could stop myself. My voice sounded small and broken. "What truth, Lily? What did you do?" She covered her mouth with both hands and shook her head. "I can't say it. Not here. Not now. Mom, please. You can't know." A crow cawed in the distance. The cemetery gate creaked in the wind. The day was ending and the night felt close. I felt like the stones were watching us. I felt like the ground itself held a secret. Lily looked back at the tomb again, whispering to it, as if someone might answer. "He forgave me," she said. "He said he forgave me, but he was scared. He told me not to tell. He told me Mom would be so angry. He said it would ruin everything." My legs trembled. I wanted to cry. I wanted to beg her to tell me the truth. But she made me promise. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You must promise. Mom, please promise you won't tell. You have to promise." I felt like a teacher again, telling a child to cross a busy street, to not eat something dangerous, to look both ways. But this was different. This asked me to hold something heavy and terrible inside my chest. I felt torn into pieces. My mother heart wanted my child safe more than anything. But my human heart wanted the truth. I can't promise not to help you, I said. If something is wrong, I will help. But you have to tell me. She shook her head hard. No, she whispered. You don't understand. If you knew, you would never forgive me. You would leave him. You would leave us. You would blame yourself. You can't know. Not yet. Please. The sky darkened. Lights from the town began to blink on. An old man walked his dog on the path and did not look our way. The air smelled of wet leaves and dust. Lily rose slowly from her knees. She hugged the stray ribbon to her chest and then whispered again toward the stone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She turned and took a step toward the path, moving away from the grave. Her shoulders were tight. Her face looked years older. Then, like a thunderclap breaking calm air, a car engine roared nearby. Headlights flashed through the trees. Something on the path moved fast, a dark shape running toward us. I reached for Lily. My voice sounded like a small animal. Lily, wait. The runner came fast and then stopped. It was a man. Tall. His breath came hard. He was not a stranger. I knew his face like I knew morning coffee. He was Michael, Lily's father's old friend. He had keys to our house once. He had been to our table for Sunday dinners. Now his eyes were wide with fear. Sarah, he panted. You can't be here. You can't. Before he could finish, Lily grabbed my hand and pulled me back behind a stone. Her eyes were huge. Her mouth moved like she was trying to say something, but no sound came out. Michael's face was white. His hand shook when he reached into his jacket. He pulled out a folded paper and held it up like it was proof of something. Please don't tell her, he begged. Please don't say it here. My head spun. My heart beat like a drum. I felt like I was trapped in a storm and the lightning kept getting closer. I did not know who to trust. I did not know how heavy the truth could be. Lily whispered so low I barely heard. He's the only one who knows. He promised to help. But he can't stay. Michael swallowed and looked directly at the tombstone, his eyes wet. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, he said. We tried to hide it. We tried to fix it. But now it's... He stopped. His face crumpled. He looked at me with a plea I could not ignore. At that moment, a sound split the air, a sharp crack like a branch snapping under heavy weight. A man's voice called from the trees, low and close. Who's there? Everything went still. Lily let out a tiny, terrified sound. Michael froze like a deer. I could feel my own pulse thudding in my ears. The night held its breath. And then, just as the voice faded into a whisper and the shadow of footsteps drew near, someone stepped into the light. It was a figure I did not expect to see. My mouth opened, but no words came. The figure looked straight at us. And in a voice that was calm and very close, he said, "You weren't supposed to tell her." The chapter closed on that sentence, and my world broke into pieces. The man's voice in the dark made my whole body go cold. I stepped forward before I thought, and my shoes crunched on the gravel. The light from the street lamp fell on his face, and I saw him clearly. He was older, with a heavy coat and a face full of tired lines. I knew him. His name was Marcus Hale. He used to work with my husband years ago. He had helped us move boxes the first week we came into this town. He lived 2 streets over. He looked at Lily and then at me with a kind of fear I had not seen before. You weren't supposed to tell her, he repeated, softer this time, like the words burned him. Lily's small body shook. She pressed her hands over her mouth and the ribbon slipped from her fingers. It landed on the stone between us. The charm caught the light and glittered like it wanted to be seen. Mom, Lily whispered, and in her whisper there was both begging and warning. You have to go. Now. My voice came out small and rough. Lily, what did you do? What is he talking about? Who aren't we supposed to tell? Marcus looked away. His jaw worked. He was trying to keep steady. He took a step closer to the tomb, but his eyes never left Lily. It's not just her, he said. There are others. We thought it would stay buried. We made a mistake. We all did. But you never should have come here tonight. I felt dizzy. The world tilted like a ship in bad weather. Marcus, tell me. Please. I'm her mother. She told me to promise. I won't yell. I just need to know. Marcus closed his eyes like he wanted to shut the whole night out. He told us to sit on an old bench near the path. His hands were still shaking when he reached into his coat and pulled out a small notebook. The pages were dog-eared and soft at the edges. I should not be the one to say it, he started, and he looked at Lily with a deep sorrow in his eyes. But you deserve the truth. Lily curled her knees to her chest and watched him like a small animal waiting for a hand. I sat too, though I wanted to stand and shake him and make everything right. It was 10 years ago, Marcus said. We were younger, and we made bad choices. There was an accident, a terrible accident, down by the river. A young man, Jacob, fell. We thought we could fix it. We thought we could make it look like something else. We panicked. We told ourselves it would be better if no one knew. My heart banged hard in my chest. Jacob. The name was like a cold stone hitting the water. I tried to breathe slowly. Who is Jacob? I asked. Marcus swallowed. He was Lily's friend, he said gently. A boy who used to play on the docks. He used to bring a little boat just like that. He and Lily were with some other kids that night. They were near the water when something happened. Lily's head shook. Tears spilled down her face and ran into the dirt. We were playing, she said. We were laughing. He got too close to the edge. He slipped. He couldn't swim. I told him to go, Mom. I told him to run. I was trying to be brave. I thought he would be okay. I didn't mean it. She pressed her face into her knees and rocked. Her words fell like small stones. Marcus rubbed his forehead. We told him to hold on while we ran for help, he said. But when we came back, he wasn't there. We looked and we called, but it was dark and the current was strong. We were scared. Then someone, not sure who, said we should hide what happened because none of us thought we'd be believed. So we lied. We said he left. We told his parents he ran away. I felt like I had been hit. The world narrowed to a small tunnel and every sound echoed. You lied to his parents? I asked, though my voice sounded far away. You told them he left? Marcus's hands trembled. We told them he ran away with another boy from town. We wrote letters. We said things to make it seem like he left. We told ourselves we were protecting everyone. But we buried the truth. My chest ached so much I could barely breathe. The sky over the cemetery had gone a deep, heavy blue. The trees moved like sad people bowing their heads. Lily's shoulders shook, and she looked up at me with the wide eyes of a child. I was scared, she said. I thought if I told the truth, the police would blame me. I thought you would hate me. I thought I would lose you. I thought I would lose everything. I wanted to scoop her into my arms and hold her until the world stopped spinning. Instead, I sat very still, because the truth was heavy as iron and I did not know how to lift it. Why no? I asked Marcus quietly. Why bring it up tonight? Marcus's face went pale. He looked past us to the trees like he was expecting someone to appear. Because someone found out, he said. Because someone started asking questions about old things. Because the river is giving up what it took. We all thought the past was safe, but it's not. And Lily, she had to come, because she needed to tell him she was sorry. She wanted to say goodbye. My throat burned. Goodbye to who? Marcus's voice broke. To Jacob, he said. To the boy who never had a chance to grow up. For a long moment no one spoke. The night stretched like a long ribbon. Then, softly, Lily whispered, I wanted to tell him I was sorry. I wanted to tell him his boat would be found. I wanted to tell him I loved him. I didn't know what else to do. The apology in her voice made my whole body ache. I thought of the small grave we had been kneeling at. Was that where Jacob's name was carved? Had his family buried him? Had they mourned someone who vanished? The thought made my stomach turn. Marcus took a deep, shuddering breath. We thought we could keep it quiet. But someone has been looking into old reports. A man from the county came asking about Jacob last month. He said the case files were incomplete. He asked questions no one expected. He wanted to know why no one really looked. He wanted to know who last saw him. My skin prickled. Who? Marcus shook his head. We don't know yet. But someone is talking. And now Lily coming here? Someone will notice. Someone might put the pieces together. A twig snapped near the path. We all turned. A shadow moved beyond the stone fence. The hairs on my arms rose. A slow, low voice came from the path, close enough that we could hear it breathe. So you finally decided to tell the truth. We looked up. A man stepped out into the light. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and his face was blank like stone. He wore a county jacket. He held a folder under his arm, and his eyes were sharp. Marcus stood up so fast his knees knocked together. "No," he said. "We didn't tell anyone." The man walked closer. He opened the folder and pulled out a photograph, a picture of a dock with a small red boat. He held it up so the street lamp caught it. "Someone told me where to look," the man said. "Someone left a note at the Historical Society. Someone said they wanted Jacob's family to know the truth." Lily's hand found mine and gripped it tight. My head felt so heavy I thought I might fall. The man in the county jacket looked at each of us slowly. When his eyes met mine, I felt a chill run down my spine. "And you," he said to me in a voice that sounded soft, but full of steel, "why were you following your daughter tonight?" My heart stopped. Before I could answer, the man added, and his words were quiet and sharp, because someone didn't want the truth to come out. At that sentence the chapter ended, the cold night pressing down like a hand, and I felt a new kind of fear, a fear that the truth would not only break us, but destroy lives. The man's question hit me so hard I forgot how to breathe. "Why were you following your daughter tonight?" His voice wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was worse than that, calm, careful, like he already knew the answer but wanted to see if I would lie. Lily squeezed my hand so tight her fingers trembled. Marcus swallowed hard and took a step back. The trees above us swayed, and for a moment the whole cemetery felt like it was listening. I forced myself to speak. I thought she was avoiding me," I said quietly. "I didn't know she was coming here. I didn't know about any of this." The man studied me for several long seconds. His eyes were sharp, but there was something sad in them too. Then he turned to Lily. "You told him to go?" he asked softly. "Is that what you meant?" Lily didn't look up. Her shoulders shook, and she wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "I didn't mean it like that," she whispered. "I was a kid. We were playing. I said it because I was angry. But then he slipped. I didn't know it would happen. I didn't know anything." The man nodded slowly, like he had expected that. "Kids make mistakes," he said. "But adults, they make choices. And adults chose to hide that mistake." Marcus stepped forward, his voice tight. "We did what we thought was right. The parents were falling apart. We were scared. The man held up a hand, stopping him. "You made it worse." The silence that followed felt like winter, cold and heavy. Then the man bent down and placed the photograph of the dock on a clean stone beside the grave. "I've been searching for answers for months," he said. "Looking for what really happened to Jacob Hale." My breath caught. "Hale?" I whispered. "He has your last name." The man nodded once. "Jacob was my son." The world tilted sideways. Marcus's knees buckled slightly. Lily gasped. And I felt something shatter inside me, a mother recognizing another parent's grief. The man looked at Lily with gentleness I didn't expect. "I don't blame you," he said. "You were children. You didn't understand what danger meant. The river is tricky. Fast. Cold. Dark at night." Lily's tears flowed harder. She couldn't speak. "But I do blame the adults who hid the truth," he continued, turning toward Marcus now. "Because they stole from me the one thing every parent deserves: closure." Marcus's voice broke. "We were trying to protect." "No," the man's voice was sharp now. "You were trying to protect yourselves." He stepped closer to Marcus. Not threatening, just brutally honest. "You let me think my son ran away. You let me search every town within 50 miles. You let me check train stations and bus stops for years." His voice cracked. For the first time, I heard the pain behind the anger. "I buried an empty coffin," he whispered. "Do you understand that? I mourned a ghost." No one moved. Not even the trees. Lily cried harder, pressing her face against my arm. I wrapped my arms around her and held her tight. "We didn't know what else to do," Marcus said. "We thought it would ruin everything." The man took a deep breath. "Maybe it should have been ruined." Then he looked at me again. And you, he said softly. You didn't know anything. You didn't choose any of this. A small wave of relief washed over me, but fear still crawled through my veins. What happens now? I asked. The man didn't answer right away. He looked at the sky, the tomb, the photograph. His eyes softened with a kind of grieving acceptance. Someone sent me a note last week, he said. A note telling me to check the riverbank near the old dock. Someone told me to look again. Marcus stiffened. We didn't. It wasn't you, the man said. Or the kids. Someone else knows. Someone who wants the truth out. Who? I whispered. The man shook his head. I don't know yet. Before any of us could process that, a rustling sound came from another section of the cemetery. Fast footsteps. Someone moving through the graves with purpose. The man snapped his head toward the noise. Marcus backed up, panicked. Lily clung tighter to me, her small hand gripping my sweater like it was the only safe thing left in the world. Then a voice echoed through the trees, strong, female, angry. Stop right there. A flashlight beam cut through the dark, landing on the man's face. I turned quickly. At the edge of the path stood a woman in a dark coat, holding a badge. Sheriff Martinez. I recognized her from the town hall meetings, serious, strong, always calm. But tonight her face was tight with urgency. She walked quickly toward us, hand on her holster. What are you doing here, Sam? She demanded, addressing the man. His name is Sam, I thought. Sam Hale. Finishing something that should have been finished 10 years ago, Sam replied evenly. This isn't how you do it, Sheriff Martinez hissed. You can't take matters into your own hands. Sam gestured toward the grave. My son deserves the truth. And you'll have it, she snapped. But not like this. You can't scare people into talking. He didn't move. Sheriff Martinez turned her stern eyes toward Lily and me. You two need to go home. Now. Lily shook her head. I can't. I can't go until. No, Sheriff Martinez softened her tone. You're a child. You don't need to be here for the rest of this. She took one step toward us. And that was when everything changed. A second flashlight turned on behind her. I froze. Because the hand holding it was familiar. Too familiar. The beam rose slowly and landed on a face I would recognize anywhere, even in a nightmare. Standing behind the sheriff was my husband, Tom. His face was pale. His jaw was clenched. And his eyes were fixed directly on Lily. My mouth went dry. Tom. I whispered. He didn't look at me. He only spoke one short, devastating sentence. A sentence that nearly stopped my heart. He said, she wasn't supposed to tell you the truth about that night on the river. The world went silent. Lily gasped. Marcus cursed under his breath. Sam Hale's eyes sharpened like knives. And my knees almost collapsed. Because in that single moment, I realized something horrible. My husband knew the truth. He knew everything. And he had been hiding it from me for 10 long years. For a moment, I couldn't move. The night air felt heavy, like it had wrapped around my throat and squeezed. My husband, the man I slept beside, cooked with, argued with, loved, stood there holding a flashlight like it was a weapon of truth. And he wasn't looking at me. Or Marcus. Or even Sheriff Martinez. He was staring straight at Lily. And she wilted under his gaze. Her shoulders dropped. Her breath shook. Her eyes filled with guilt, or fear, or both. My voice came out tiny. Tom, what did you do? He looked at me then. Slowly. Regrettably. Like a man who had run out of places to hide. His jaw tightened. Sarah, he said softly, there are things you don't understand. Sam Hale took one step forward. You'd better start explaining, he growled. Because my son is dead, and someone has been lying for a decade. Sheriff Martinez held out an arm to stop Sam from lunging. Everyone stay where you are. Nobody moves until I get the truth. Tom let out a shaky breath. He looked at Lily again, and this time, I saw something heartbreaking. Not anger. Not blame. Just sorrow. Lily wasn't the only one there that night, Tom finally said. His voice cracked. I was there too. My entire body went numb. It felt like the ground tilted under my feet. Sam Hale's eyes widened with fury. You were what? Tom swallowed hard, rubbing his forehead. I was driving by the river. I saw the kids playing on the dock. I saw them pushing each other, laughing. And then, he stopped. He looked like the memory was choking him. Sheriff Martinez stepped forward. And then what, Tom? Tom's voice dropped to a whisper. Jacob slipped. He hit his head on the wooden beam. He fell into the water. Sam Hale's breath hitched. Tears filled his eyes instantly, the kind of tears that happen when pain is too old and too deep to hide. Tom wiped his face with both hands. I jumped in. I swam. I tried to grab him, I swear. But the current. His voice broke. It was pulling too fast. I lost him. I lost him. Lily sobbed into her hands. She shook so hard I had to pull her against my chest. Tom took a trembling step toward her. She thought it was her fault, he said. She told him to go. She told him to run down the dock. She thought the words she said made it happen. A sob ripped out of Lily's throat. Dad, I didn't mean it. I know, Tom whispered. I know, sweetheart. It was an accident. But you were a child and you panicked. And when you started crying and saying you killed him, I didn't know what to do. He turned to Sam Hale. I should have called the police. I should have told you the truth. His gaze lowered. But I was terrified. I saw your face in every nightmare. I saw what you'd do if you knew my daughter was there. Sam's face twisted. That doesn't justify anything. Tom nodded slowly. You're right. He looked at Sheriff Martinez next. Marcus and I dragged the dock boards to make it look old and broken. We told the kids to say Jacob ran away. We made up the story about the other boy. We thought we were protecting everyone. Protecting yourselves, Sam hissed. Sheriff Martinez's jaw clenched. So you all buried the truth? You hid a drowning? You staged a runaway. Tom didn't defend himself. He didn't argue. His shoulders sagged under the weight of 10 years of guilt. Yes, he said. I did. I felt sick. My stomach twisted. The man I married had lied to me for a decade. He kept my daughter's trauma locked away until it became a ghost in her chest. And he let a father bury an empty coffin. Sheriff Martinez shook her head slowly. This will change everything. There are consequences, Tom. Sam Hale stepped forward, shaking with grief and rage. For 10 years, he whispered, I thought my son abandoned me. For 10 years, his mother cried herself to sleep. For 10 years, we lived with a story you wrote, just to protect yourselves. Tom's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But Sam didn't want apologies. He wanted justice. Even revenge. And I couldn't blame him. But then something unexpected happened. Something that changed the air, the night, the moment. Lily stepped forward. Her hands trembling, her voice breaking. But her courage steady. Please don't blame my dad, she whispered. He was trying to protect me. I said the wrong words. I hurt Jacob by accident. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. Her small voice cracked the night open like a fragile shell. Even Sam Hale softened, just a fraction at the sight of her. He knelt down so he met her eyes. And when he spoke, his voice was gentle, painfully gentle. It wasn't your fault, Lily. She sobbed again. Her knees buckled, and I held her tight. Sam stood slowly, looking at Tom with a tired, broken expression. But it was yours. Sheriff Martinez took a deep breath. Tom Bennett, she said firmly, you're coming with me. We're reopening the case. Everything you hid, every lie, is evidence. Tom didn't resist. He just nodded, eyes full of regret, and held out his hands. Before she cuffed him, he turned to me. Sarah, I know you'll never forgive me. But please, take care of Lily. I felt my heart crack into pieces. I didn't have words for him. Not tonight. Not after this. The sheriff led him away. Marcus was questioned separately. Sam Hale collected the photograph from the grave and held it gently, like it was a piece of his son. Finally, it was just me and Lily standing beside Jacob's tomb. The cemetery was silent again. Night swallowed the noise. Lily clung to my side. I'm sorry, Mom, she whispered. I was so scared. I held her tightly. As tightly as I did the day she was born. It wasn't your fault, I whispered. And I'm not going anywhere. The ribbon she dropped earlier lay near the base of the tomb. I picked it up and tied it carefully to the small metal vase nearby. "For Jacob," I said softly. Lily nodded, wiping her eyes. "For Jacob." And under the cold, quiet sky, we stood together. Two hearts cracked open, but still beating, still healing, still holding on to each other. Because sometimes revenge isn't destruction. Sometimes it's truth. And sometimes it's the long overdue justice that finally lets the dead rest.